Lightsaber companies have come a really long way, especially with established character lightsabers. But one of my favorite things from the lightsaber market is discovering really amazing designs that aren't tied to a character, but fits the Star Wars aesthetic so well. Sometimes it can even be a mystery of an unspoken lore, or it could fit a character you create yourself. Greetings, knowledge-seekers. The Force is with you. My name is Priyanjoni, and you're watching Lightsaber Culture. With a name like Executioner, this might be a dark side wielder's lightsaber. Or is it? Or perhaps it was a seized saber from a Sith that a gray Jedi now wields. See, that's what's awesome here. You can create an entire character behind this lightsaber. Now, I haven't seen this hilt before, but because it is loaded with a XenoPixel V3 board, I would speculate that the wholesaler that this came from is either LGT Saber Studios or Nexus Sabers. Lightsaber wholesalers are generally who design and build the saber, and they are sold and branded by individual resellers like NeoSabers. I want to give a huge thank you to NeoSabers for sending this lightsaber to check out so we can deep dive on it together. Use my affiliate discount code Priyanjoni to get 10% off this or any lightsaber from NeoSabers. And don't forget, if you end up enjoying this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. Doing so helps reach out to the force of the algorithm to share this with more folks like you. Doing it will help us make more lightsaber content like this. So let's go over the different tier options for this lightsaber. Baselit loaded with a Xeno RGB 3.0 goes for $249. The mid-tier XenoPixel V3, which we have right here, is $299, and for the top tier is the NeoPixel Profi 2.2, which goes for $369. Now remember, this is before my 10% off discount code Priyanjoni, so you can apply my discount during checkout. There is only a $50 difference between Baselit and the XenoPixel V3, so I think the XenoPixel V3 is the best bang for your buck. And if you really want the lightweight and dueling durability advantage of the Baselit, remember that you can place a Baselit adapter to a XenoPixel to convert it to a Baselit blade. There are options for 3 blade sizes here: a long 36-inch blade, which we have included in the box, a 32-inch, which is my favorite length, and even a short 28-inch, which could be considered a Shoto blade. Keep in mind, prices are subject to change. Now, I see a lot of inspiration from established character lightsabers here. It almost looks like a kit bash from existing character as well as custom lightsaber parts. It definitely has a dark side user vibe, but not fully. The wrap on the grip reminds me of Rey's lightsaber, though I think the fabric could have been made a little darker in color because there's a huge contrast between the wrap and the rest of the hilt. The emitter is very interesting. There's an angled outer shroud that reminds me of both Anakin and Vader's saber, while there's an inner emitter that has a singed look like a custom exhaust colored by heat. The shape of the emitter looks familiar too, like it was part of a VHC saber parts from LGT. The extended hook also reminds me of Dooku's lightsaber emitter. While it's not exactly sharp, it can hurt you if you poke someone with it, so be careful. I would even go as far to say that if you plan on traveling with this lightsaber, I would check this in when you're getting on a flight instead of carrying it on. This part could be questionable by TSA. And while the entire hilt is really smooth, there are sharp parts on the outer shroud, like this hook right here on both sides. So if you're spinning it, be careful placing your hand there. The overall saber from pommel all the way to tip has really nice light weathering. It's actually my favorite type of weathering, where the edges are slightly worn, exposing the metal under the paint. It has a very Star Wars look with defined edges all around. You can even see it around the buttons over here. I do have to mention that there is no LED indicator on the single button design, but not to worry because it is XenoPixel. You do have Bluetooth control. In my hand, it feels like a medium weight lightsaber, but let's weigh it to see what it is on the scale. 1.116 pound. Now, a really cool feature on this is the quick release core. Let's open up the pommel. It has a gold looking outer plate, which looks amazing. And what's cool with the battery now is that it has a kyber crystal on it, so it adds to the look. Let's turn the core on.
Power on.
So when we turn this on, it has an array of LEDs on the side that represents what the blade looks like. This way, you can see your blade effects as you configure them without the blade connected. And I love the fact that the core connected to the internal electronics here, it doesn't have a specific direction, so you can just pop it in and it'll work. Now let's check out what comes inside the case. Now I really like this NeoSaber case. It's not the same black ones I've been seeing. It's more similar to the silver ones, but in black. And it has the locking latches on it, 3 latches to open, and it even has the coded lock for safety. Now there are 3 boxes in it, and one of them is actually empty. And I can see why they put this empty in here, just to keep all this from sliding around. Now make sure if you're keeping this case to keep your box, because it doesn't have the foam cutout on it, and you don't really have a way of keeping it from sliding around other than keeping it in the box. Now the hilt itself came from this box, and it did slide around during shipping, so I would just recommend to NeoSabers to please secure it a little bit more, because we don't want to open this saber and find out there was some extra weathering that happened during transit. So we're going to pull out the accessories box. And we have a USB to micro SD card reader. This is for loading your own sound fonts on the XenoPixel board. We have a hilt stand. We have an extra long charging cable. I love the fact that this is extra long. This is super useful for my use. Again, don't forget, charged with no more than a 5-volt USB charger. We have our blade plug. And we have a pretty thick user manual, and it's mostly for controlling the electronics. And I love the graphics on it. Their manuals have really come around. So, and last but not least, we have a 36-inch NeoPixel blade. Once again, it does come in 32 and 28. Oh, and I forgot, the tools are in there. Basically your Allen key and your set screws for putting the blade on. And I noticed there's 2 sizes of the Allen key in there. There's like a smaller one, so I'm wondering if there's something on this lightsaber. Oh, I see. This whole shroud, I think, can come off. We'll try that. So, with the exception of the yellow work mat and this Disney lightsaber stand, this is everything it comes with. Now, before I put the blade on, let's see if that hook will actually come off. Okay, that second Allen key is not for there. Let's use the regular Allen key. Oh, that's pretty cool. That whole hook piece can actually come off. So I guess if you're traveling with it and you don't want to be questioned, you can just remove that whole thing and not worry about it. Okay, let's put on the blade. So what I'm doing to put the blade on, there's 3 set screws. I am actually going to tighten first the one in the middle, so that way it'll push from one side with the most surface area against the interior of the emitter, and then you just snugly tighten the other sides. Basically, what you're trying to avoid is if all the set screws are evenly tightened, there will be less surface area against the interior of the emitter, and that causes more blade wobble. So let's try this. I feel a slight wobble, but not unacceptable. It's not gonna come off. Oh, wow. I just realized something. Check this out. The whole emitter, this piece, actually completely comes off. I did not even notice that till now. And I think that was what was causing that wobble. Because now, if we tighten it, no more wobble. That was from the emitter just being a little loose. All right, let's turn this on.
Power on.
Okay, I want it
Low volume.
at low volume, so let's try this. Ooh. Pretty cool. Let's see if we can change colors. Whoops, down.
Color change.
Let's pick red because, like I said,
Color select.
this looks more like a dark sider lightsaber. Now, without an indicator light, navigating might be a little challenging. You have to count the timing of your hold to guess how many blinks it is. Or you can remove the core because there is an indicator light on the core underneath it. The manual will help you figure out how to navigate, but since it is a XenoPixel V3, I can set all my custom settings using the Xeno configuration app on my mobile device. So I'm going to connect my Saber. It detects it here. Click that. Confirm.
App connected.
Now I'm in the app. So let's turn on the Saber. We can change our color here. Green, more yellow, red, or purple, pink there. And we can actually give it RGB values. So if I want an exact red, it's at 255. We'll put everything else at 0. And now I have a straight red. Now remember, you have all these effects when you're playing with the Saber. So like, for example, flash on clash. You have smooth swinging sound. You have blade lockup. So here's some cool things that I haven't seen in XenoPixel before. I think this is with the latest version, are the Saber modes. This is standard mode, you know, with your blade, but check this out.
Velocity mode.
Velocity mode, it extends more as you swing. Okay? The next mode,
Torch mode.
torch mode, I guess it's for using it like a torch.
Blaster mode.
Blaster mode is almost like it has blaster effects.
Ghost mode.
Ghost mode in the dark, this is pretty cool because you don't really see the blade until you move it.
Broken ignition.
Broken ignition. Check this out.
Photon ignition.
So let's try this again. Photon. Some of you have seen that before. And
Stack ignition.
stack ignition. So there's so many options to customize this in the Xeno configuration app. So now that we explored all the electronics, let's take this outside. All right, that was pretty fun. It's a pretty heavy lightsaber to spin, especially with a 36-inch blade. If you plan on spinning it, I even recommend taking it down to the 28-inch as your option. It is a little uncomfortable and you may have to play with the Xeno configuration settings because it is easy to retract the blade when you accidentally touch the button or trigger a gesture control. And like I expected, this shroud right here where it's a little sharp, do be careful if you're spinning this.
Disconnected.
Do be careful when spinning with this thing because this could cut your hand. I would even recommend removing this the inner emitter and sanding this area off just so that it's a lot smoother. Overall, I think this is more of a great saber for cosplaying, maybe a little bit of spinning. From my experience, it's a little uncomfortable to try to duel with, but it looks really, really cool for cosplay, especially if you're building your own character. Now, if you want to see an epic lightsaber duel at a Star Wars immersive wedding, check out my wedding video right here.